and operate and serving the African American community for over 40 years. The views and opinions of the guests and Hey guys, I'm back.
Are not necessarily those of the staff and management of Radio 1, its sponsors, or advertisers.
Oh, yeah, man, how you doing? You good? I know you like that. I know you like that. I see the girls in the club, they're getting wild for me. And all the pretty chicks all wanna smile at me. These rap cats, man, they all got this style for me. And if I ever see them, man, they probably bow to me. And when this beat drop, I know they gon' lean. Word is
Heck yeah, majorly cool.
Mississippi to the Palm Springs. Girls from brunettes down to
Hey.
These young boys don't know what a dawn mean. I'm just a bad boy gone clean. I'm the diamond chain choker, all over sober. Don't drink liquor and all the game's over. Need a plane? I explained it to my broker. 3 bots in the hood, top down, and ain't over. You know this more man, where that come from? Me and Kuda love rolling back to back in one. See the names have all changed since I've been around, but the game ain't the same since I left out.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. It is another Thursday installment of Face the Facts. I'm so happy to be back. You heard what the song said. The game ain't changed since I left. But it ain't the same now that I'm here. Hello. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Face the Facts with Kelly Vaughn. I'm your host, Kelly Vaughn. So glad to be back in the studio. Thank you guys so much for the love and the outpouring and checking on me. I had to take a 2-week hiatus from radio in totality. So I could not do my show. I did not do the Larry Young Morning Show. But now I'm back in the studio and so happy to be there. I can't tell you the countless messages, texts, inbox messages on Facebook, or somebody hit me on Twitter. Thank you guys so much for checking on me. I am well. I'm doing fabulously well. Have never felt better. And this show is going to discuss why I left for 2 weeks. So before we get started, definitely want to send a grand shout out to Senator Larry Young, who is representing for the Baltimore chapter up at the National Action Network Convention with Al Sharpton. And he took with him 10 delegates from Baltimore, the Baltimore chapter. And so I am extremely proud that you are there representing us, Senator. I know you're doing a fabulous job, and we've been holding it down here. This morning, I filled in for Senator Young on his show. And now I'm right back at it 30 minutes later. I took me a little bathroom break and I'm back in the studio. So glad to be back with my producer, Sean. I missed you over the 2 weeks, but thank you for playing our replays and trying to keep people interested. But Miss Sherry hit me up and she like, where you at? I had to leave for just a moment, but like I said, it feels so good to be back. I didn't know how much I loved radio until I missed radio, and I missed my own customized show. Why? Because there's no holds barred here. I can say what I want to say. I can talk about what and who I want to talk about, and I'm not held to any standard. Certainly on the Larry Young Morning Show, I try to be on my best behavior. But right here at Face the Facts, we get buck with it. Uh, so gonna get right down to it, and as always, you guys can call in and chime in at any time at 410-481-1010. That's 410-481-1010. But I'm here to tell the story. So many of you met me on radio. Many of you met me on the Larry Young Morning Show. And it was during the summer of 2020 that I called in on a regular basis to give updates about a protest that I was involved in. And this protest was against a restaurant, an establishment that myself and many other people, hundreds of people, found to have racist actions and words towards our Black community that we did not appreciate. And we sought to make our voices known, to stand up for ourselves, and to let folk know that you have to respect the Black dollar. I've said it before and I'll say it again. The most powerful force, or one of the most powerful force, is the power of the Black dollar, because we don't mind spending money that sometimes we don't even have to spend. And so there's a power in that. It's bad for our community because a lot of us don't know how to save. We become bankrupt. We're financially in ruin, but it's that mighty Black dollar that says, I don't care if the rent is due or the light's about to be turned off. I'm gonna show up at this cookout with about 3 bushels of crabs and be the big man on campus. And so when you have a culture that does that, you gotta respect that Black dollar, because that Black dollar is gonna spend whether we have it or not. In the marketplace where the Black dollar resides, business owners would want to respect us. And so it was on June 6th of 2020 that some comments appeared online from a business owner of a crab house. And myself, I saw it, others saw it, and I didn't see it until Friday, June 5th. So when I saw it June 5th, I went ahead and started trying to organize some kind of demonstration to say, hey, what you did, we saw it, and it's not okay for you to do that. In doing that, the next morning, which would be June 6th, I had planned for the protest to start in the afternoon. Well, as social media would have it and broadcast it first, people were gathered well before the afternoon. And so myself and some others, we took to the protest as well. When we got there, the scene was chaotic. There were many messages that were being spread. There were many messages that were being communicated. There were solutions that were trying to be sought, but nobody had a unified voice or unified way of protest. And so it was at that time that I sought to bring all of us who were out there together so that we could unify our voice. You know, when you have, I have kids, and if all 3 of my kids talk to me at the same time, I'm not hearing anything. And while what they're talking about may be important to each of them individually, I still can't hear anything because I got 3 voices bombarding me at one time. And we needed one person to speak, and we needed one message to be spread. And so that's what we sought to do. The first day, everything started at one location, but then we galvanized the crowds to spread to the other locations so that we could make our voices heard. The owners of the crab house left that day, them and their staff, because they feared for their safety, because there was a very large crowd. And understandably, the crowd was displeased. You had people like myself. I supported this business each and every week for a year and a half. And so anyone who knows anything about the seafood business, it has never been a cheap thing to purchase. And so just think about the fact that every week for a year and a half, because I had never heard of them. And once I tried them, I liked it. So I'm a seafood lover. I kept going. And many others did too. Um, but being a loyal and faithful customer, I did not expect for anybody to say anything that would be against my race or put my race in a negative connotation. And that's what happened. And so we unified our voices. The business shut down for 9 days because they decided to show respect for the social injustices that were arising in the nation. And for me and many others, That just simply wasn't enough. It just wasn't enough. And so when they opened back up, myself and others, we decided to continue to protest. I did everything I could to keep everything as peaceful as possible, because once you do something criminal at a protest, it then turns into more of a riot. But more importantly, the message that you sought to get across gets muted and nobody hears what you wanted to say. And so that was one of the things that was very important to me. I felt like someone needed to organize the effort, and I stepped out to do just that. Well, fast forward, we stayed in protest and boycott for 266 days. Now, the other side would say we stayed for 227 days. Yeah, we stayed in person for 227 days, but we continued to spread the message that we wanted to spread for 266 days. That's the official number. I would know because I kept record of it. And in that, myself and some other targeted protesters were then served in August of 2020 with a lawsuit from the business owners. Um, and in that lawsuit, we are cited with what they would call criminal protest, which I don't believe exists. I don't believe that that is a truthful term. I don't think it exists anywhere because once you go criminal, it's like a riot. Well, we didn't do that. If the police came and they said you can't be on their property, we moved ourselves immediately to the public portion of the property. They define us chanting and talking to customers as harassing customers because we had to raise our voices. Well, when you're barred away from the building over 70 feet, how else do you communicate with people? And what we did was effective because there were many who showed up to make purchases who knew nothing about what happened on social media, but did appreciate us being there to tell them about the business. And then they made their own choice after that. And so it was in August of 2020 that we were served with paperwork. It was disgusting the way that it went down because we were at the protest site and someone came over and threw the paperwork at all those who were being sued. Well, to me, that's not legal service. Neither here nor there. Now it's 2022. And so 2 weeks ago, we started to enter into trial posture, which means, you go through your discovery evidence and everything that will be presented for trial. And we actually made it to the point where we were at jury selection. During jury selection and in examining the jury pool, it was found that quite a few jurors were connected to the business owners in some way. I found that to be odd because when jurors were asked if they knew any of us that were being sued, nobody stood up. But when they were asked if they were customers, vendors, or even knew the parties that are suing us, a good 20 people stood up in one jury pool. Where does that happen? And let me just say this, I am speaking freely because I can. The judge did not seal this case. Everything that I'm saying is public knowledge, it's public information. Anyone can go to the Baltimore County Courthouse and pull this up. And until the case is sealed, I'm free to speak freely. And so I'm doing that today. It was my decision before going to trial to deactivate my social media and to go on radio silence. Why? Because I did not want to be distracted in what I would call my personal fight for justice and to clear our names. And also because this case would set a precedence for those who are involved in activism, for those who protest, for those who operate in their amendment rights. And so, with that, it deserved, if nothing else, my full and complete attention, aside and apart from any distractions that would come my way, either through telephone or social media. Because I'm sure we all know how distracted we can get when we go to social media. How many of us have went and went to the restroom and sat on the toilet and your legs go numb because you're sitting there so long scrolling up and down social media? So I didn't want that distraction in place. And so I pulled myself off of social media. And I also pulled myself off of radio because I did not want to spill on radio while being in a trial posture. Even that was brought into the trial when the other side, I deactivated my social media about a week and a half before trial. And even then, the other side claims that the day before we went to trial and for jury selection, that I took to social media and I broadcasted that I would win against them at trial. Well, first of all, nothing is illegal about that. Freedom of speech. I can say what I believe is going to happen, and there's nothing anyone can do about it. However, they brought that up in court as if to give reason why the case should be sealed. They did not want us to be able to do press conferences, even though they held about 4 press conferences during um, our protests and broadcasted only their side. And we were not given the same opportunity by the press. And so we did go through jury selection and we selected a jury. Unfortunately, when we went to make opening arguments, we found out that the jury we had selected, all jury members, were subsequently not able to serve for various reasons. And so I'm back from being in trial posture and I am awaiting a new date for our trial that had to be postponed because we didn't have a jury that could give their attention to the case. This is a jury trial with a 6-person jury and 4 alternate jurors. That jury pool was being selected from Baltimore County. This is happening in the Baltimore County Circuit Courts. So I wanted to come on and give you that information and explain why I needed to take 2 weeks off. If you want to call in, you have any questions, the phone number is 410-481-1010. That's 410-481-1010. But again, I thank everyone for their concern and their love. I know that one of the co-defendants, Ricky Vaughn, did a press conference right before we went into jury selection. And we are fighting. We are still fighting. And we are being sued. All my life I had to fight, Sean. Absolutely. But we're being sued for a grand amount of money because this business alleges that through our protests, their financial proceeds were affected. And indeed they were. But it's not because of anything criminal. It's because we decided to stand up for ourselves. We decided to stand up for the Black community together. And when we come together, we can certainly affect change. The name of the protest group that I named it to bring unity to our effort was Shut Down VCH Protest Group, which sends the message that when you play with the black dollar, there are consequences when we are offended, when statements are made about our race that should not be made about our race. Because if 75% of the proceeds of your business is because of the color of my skin and others who look just like me, you have to be careful. You have to treat us right. You cannot reach into our black pockets, pull out our green money, and disrespect us. So I'm going to take some callers. I have 2 lines available, 410-481-1010. That's 410-481-1010. Going to start off with Jean. Jean, good morning. You're on Face the Facts. No, it's not criminal. It's not criminal. It is civil, but it's taking place in the Baltimore County Circuit Court. Gene, somebody told me that you identified yourself as Ben Crump when you called in. Yes, sir.
in jail. And you know why he? Well, you don't have to. And the reason he was arrested is because he demonstrated without, in a sense, a permit in Birmingham, and it was illegal, and so that's why they locked him up. And he was his trial, like yours, was in the process of coming, to be. And so that meant that if Martin Luther King had been arrested, during Jim Crow, what they did was you'd be assigned to like a chain gang. So they would, in other words, they would have killed Martin Luther King. And thank God, that you have the protection of the Lord, and nothing like that, of course, is going to happen to you. But this is how serious this is when you stand up for yourself. And if it wasn't for Robert Kennedy, just a little history. If it wasn't for Robert Kennedy, who forced the governor of, I think it's Montgomery, Alabama, I think it was Orbis Farbus. And that's, that has to do, and I was going to joke about you guys. They said, how many of there are you? Because remember the Little Rock Nine,
Yes.
blocked from going to school with the, what do you call it, the National Guard. And then President Eisenhower used the 82nd Airborne to help the children to go to school. So how many is there of you?
So originally there were 7 defendants, and one defaulted. They never heard from that individual. And then there were 3 who settled right before trial. They settled with the business. And so what you have left is 4 of us still in the fight.
Okay, so, and this took place in what city or?
This took place in Middle River.
Before.
Yes, the Middle River 4. Absolutely.
McW got the Middle River 4.
Thank you.
Really anything to say, because anything else I say might impact your trial. But, so hang in there, and Black Power, Kelly.
Absolutely. Thank you, Gene. Appreciate you. Thomas, you're on Face the Facts. Good morning.
Good morning, Miss Kelly.
Hey, Thomas. I'm doing well today.
Well, Miss Sherry doing well too.
She is.
Let me refer what I'm going to say by this. For all the naysayers and all of them ones that Kelly from the black community that tried to set you up, that try to demean your good name, your character and stuff, let me say this to them. You have the right to remain solid, dummy. Anything you say will be used against you in the court of law, dummy. Therefore, stay in D.C., take care of D.C. business.
Oh, he talking about Coach.
Now, why did I say that just now? Because a lot of people, Kelly, call themselves professional radio on-air personalities. Ain't that but a bunch of little childs out here, okay? And some people like, you want to put a sign on the microphones in the studio says, keep out of the reaches of dummies. Okay? Let me tell you something. Anytime you got to call another man's radio show and beg the person to put you on air, I'll stick around for a few seconds to help you out. Ain't nobody asking you, dummy. Go and do your walk or whatever you do in the morning.
Oh, Jesus.
And just leave people alone. If you're that such a popular talk show host, then you get your own show. I'm sure WOLB will get you a show that you need to pay for. But if not, quit inviting yourself on other people's shows, because it makes it seem like you're not as popular as you think you are. And to text people in the morning to tell them to listen to you, coming on Larry Young Motor Show, whatever the situation may be, Kelly, that's childish. That's childish, and it shows you that they don't have the reach that they think they have. But Kelly, I'm glad your court situation is moving through the courts. I'm glad you got a fair judge who looks at things fairly. Hopefully, when this is all over with, the other person's attorney, hopefully she'll get what she got coming to her by the attorney grievance board.
Mm.
Yes.
Yes.
We're just going to leave it at that today.
Yes, sir. I appreciate you, Thomas. Thank you. Mm-hmm.
It's an opinion I just did. Not Kelly Vine, not this radio station, or his management. Sue me, dummy.
Thank you, Thomas. What a PSA. Mark C., good morning. You're on Face the Facts.
Hello.
Yeah, you're fine.
That was it.
That was hilarious, wasn't it?
Well, let me get to Kelly. I always give people, their credit. And anybody that's doing anything, because, all the hate that we give each other is really ridiculous. But I want to give you, your prop, for you and anybody that was out there with you, man, all that long time. A lot of people don't even remember what that. Yeah, I think it was their son or somebody that went on social media and just went on that, that rant against, black people for no reason. Am I right?
Correct.
And I don't know if you said it. I just joined you a little while ago, but I don't know if you said what really was said. Get out there in the rain and the snow and the whatever, that was really commendable. People don't realize, and I'm mad because I don't see how they were able to even, get you in court and all that, spending money and time and all that kind of stuff. To me, that's ridiculous. So, I'm praying for you, and everybody. And Kelly, I'm glad that you do the same thing I've been doing for 10 years. You put your money where your mouth is. Anybody can get a customized show. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Pay for it, like we do.
Right. Exactly.
Like I've been doing for 10 years. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And let me, Ricky Bond, can I just give him some kudos real quick?
Sure. Go right on ahead.
And Kelly, you set me straight because I swear I thought y'all two was married.
I know you and a lot of other people. It was actually broadcast by a news station. I won't say their name, but they're the ones that started the mess.
Yeah, I did. I did for a long time. But and for you and him to be out there, but I gotta say this about Ricky Bond. The last 3.5 years that I've been out there with these brothers, taking resources to the community. Ricky Vaughn not only has been out there with us, but Ricky Vaughn, a lot of people don't know, and he said it the other day over at Bishop Daniel's Church Monday, Kelly. We was over there. We left from there and we went up and engaged the Penn North community. But Ricky Vaughn was there the other day, and they brought him up, and this brother was a squeezy kid. He was homeless and all that kind of stuff. And that's why I laugh, Kelly, and I get so upset when I hear people throw us under the bus. Yeah, we've been talking about 50,000-60,000 addicts since the 90s, and stuff like that. But we didn't have the lawlessness and all this kind of stuff. And we got 90% of the parents and all that kind of stuff and hardworking, successful people in Baltimore in all walks of life. So that's why I get so upset when I hear people throw us under the bus. We ain't doing that. We bums, we drunk, we this, that, and the other. You know what I mean? So that's ridiculous. But Ricky has been as I told you, we're not funded by the city. They come out and talk about we for them and all that, but the money hasn't materialized. But Ricky Vaughn is one of the people that helped support us. And Captain Andrew got up and said, Ricky Vaughn, he can call him. We need 4 or 5. We need this and that. And Ricky Vaughn is right there. He comes out with us and stuff like that. So I got to say that. A lot of people just talk. But and Andy Winder, she was out there. She got an award the other day, Saturday, before we left, before Ray and his son and them came. We partnered with
sister, the lady, Pastor Evans. You know, but anyway, got to give him his props. And Kelly, you and your father and them, a lot of people don't even talk about that. You guys doing some amazing things over at the Ark, you know, for our people, you know, that y'all don't get kudos for. So, you know, a lot of people talk and run their mouth and all that kind of stuff. But what are you doing?
Mm-hmm. Thank you, sir. And with that, if you're on the lines, please hold. I'll be back with you right after this very brief break. We have one line available at 410-481-1010. This is Face the Facts with Kelly Vaughn on 1010 WOLB.
Push us, cause we're close to the edge. We're trying not to lose our heads.
Why you want to take us under? Why you want to take us under?
WOLB Baltimore.
Nice, Sean. Nice.
FM HD3 Baltimore, an Urban One radio station, minority controlled, and operate and serving the African American community for over 40 years. The views and opinions of the guest and host you hear are not necessarily those of the staff and management of Radio One, its sponsors,
Let's
or
get back at it.
advertisers.
Brothers ain't worthy to rock my derby. So I'm never thirsty when I'm in the club, G. Though I know the thugs be wanting to slug me.
Could it be a cool for ugly?
I'll be at the bar with too much bubbly.
Hey. Oh. Good morning, and we're back. I told you it's going to be brief, right? This is Face the Facts with Kelly Vaughn. And before the break, I had given a whole synopsis of why I needed to take a hiatus. So I'm going to go back to the lines and hear from you because truly I missed you. Tyrone, good morning. You're on Face the Facts.
Welcome back. Glad to hear you back.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, excellent. And, you know, I know both you and Ricky Vaughn, and I can vouch for the fact that you guys, you both have attended some of my meetings and some of my protests, and I appreciate it. And so you definitely, you know, you will stand up for what you believe in, not just talking on the radio, but you take action where needed. And you're 150% right. You can't take money from black people and disrespect them, and it shouldn't be allowed. So I support everything you're doing. You know, I was probably the first person to let you on a radio show.
You were. You actually were. You were the first piece of press that supported us 110%. And let me tell you, Tyrone, we would call for press conferences and we were blacked out. We had one press conference, and then after that we kept calling for them, and the press simply would not show up. And so it's shows like yours and shows like the Larry Morning Show that were a way of us getting our word out about what we were doing and why we were still in the fight. So I really appreciate you for that.
Fully understood that they would block you out and why they would block you out, because we all know that the major news outlets are in cahoots with the business community of Baltimore, so the BDC and those type of things, the Greater Baltimore Committee, that pretty much take everything from the black community, extract wealth from us, and return give us very little in return. So and you're bucking that type of thing. You know, these people that feel like they can do anything to black people and still take money from them, still extract wealth. And so that's why I support it, and that's why I want to make sure you get a platform, you know, to let people know what's going on, that we should not be insulted when you're taking our dollars. So, and Ricky Vaughn, as I said before, Ricky Vaughn, and you have always supported. And Ricky, talked to Ricky lately. He said he'd be at the thing on the 30th at Jewett Hill Park. But don't give us a fight. I mean, Jewett Hill YMCA plan a rally on the 30th, which is the last Saturday of the month at 12:30. There's going to be several past city council presidents there, and it's going to be about the Dollar House program, not Nick Mosley's version, but ours, which gives minority contracting opportunities and jobs training for our people stuck in the criminal justice system, and home ownership opportunities for people who wouldn't otherwise have them. People caught in the middle, go work every day and still can't qualify to get a house. So we're going to be there on April 30th at 12:30 at Jewett Y. And if you can't make it because of what you're going on in your court, don't go. But the rest of the public know that we're still out here fighting the fight for our people, and keep the fight up. Don't give up. Don't give up.
Thank you, Tyrone. You too. Thank you. William, good morning. You're on Face the Facts.
Hey, good morning, Kelly. How you doing?
Doing great.
Just to be clear, I mean, I heard what you said, but what was the insult? Because I never got clear. I do remember y'all being in the news and everything. What was the insult that these people said to you about black people?
So it was during you'll remember back in 2020, President Trump, former President Trump, excuse me, because we don't have that going on anymore, but former President Trump, he went to have a photo op in front of a church that was not too far from the White House. And he wanted to pose with a Bible. And there were Black Lives Matters protesters out there. And because he did not want them around his shot, he used means that maybe he shouldn't have used of removing those protesters. And it was during that time, at that exact time, that evening, that a person from the business went online and said, I know one place that they won't protest or break anything, and that's social services. As if to say that that social services is for Black people, and that's what we do, when it couldn't be any further from the truth. You look at the numbers, it's more Caucasians on social services than Blacks. But that was the comment that was made, and that was directly from his personal Facebook page. Then, after further looking at some of his previous posts that were, I will say, some of them were a couple years before that actual incident, Black women with blonde hair look like Duracell batteries. And the insults, and you go back and you trace it. He said that one of his friends would make a better slave if he was just darker. After reviewing that, and you know how social media is and how everything goes viral, the Black community saw it and were fed up and upset about it.
See, that's what I'm saying. But see, I didn't know all that. But that's what we have to do: protest with our feet and protest with our dollars. I don't eat crabs, but I know that a lot of black people spend money on seafood.
Absolutely.
And that's why we need businesses, black businesses, and we need to patronize the black businesses, and then, we won't have to go through this. But I understand what you're saying now. First, I didn't really know what was going on with that, but I know y'all was out there, and yeah, that's why. See, that's why I don't spend my money right now with Koreans a lot, and I haven't spent it in a long time at Korean places because I feel that they don't really contribute to the black community, and it is a couple of businesses I've seen with blacks working in there, and it's not that many. But when somebody does that, that's very disconcerting to the black people. I know I was going there and buying no crab, but now I understand. Thank you for explaining that. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thanks for asking. Thank you, sir. We'll keep you abreast. Bye-bye. Kevin, good morning. You're on Face the Facts.
Good morning, Miss Kelly Vaughn. How are you, Vaughn?
Yes, it has been. How are you, sir?
I'm good. I have a quick question. When somebody decides to sue somebody, as you guys are going through, they can say they lost $10 billion and sue you guys for $10 billion and not have facts to state that they lost that much money? Took a loss in what you're suing for?
Yeah, you definitely have to prove it. And I will say that burden of proof, as far as financial losses, has been partially proven, but not all the way.
Okay. I was just wondering about that. Then I have another question. I know you talked about running for office at one time. Are you stopping running for office?
I paused my exploratory committee for trial, so I'm not sure.
Well, I don't want you to not do it because of people's comments. When you run for office, you're going to get them, unfortunately.
Yeah, you're right about it. I mean, you do open yourself up for public scrutiny. So yeah, I'm very mindful of that, Mr. Kevin. Thank you so much, sir. Bye-bye. We have another Mark. We have no shortage of Marks in Black Talk Radio. Good morning, Mark. You're on Face the Facts.
That's right. We in the Bible. We biblical.
Biblical, yes, sir.
Can't get around. Hey, but the most important thing is that you still standing strong with this struggle with
going on with the Crab House. I came out there twice to support y'all. And one day when y'all really threw them for a loop when y'all was giving away crabs.
Yes, sir.
And that was the second time I came out there to support y'all. But you still had people when you were starting out. Oh, you know, they never think you can go against another race of people. They always throwing in that you losing. They always throwing the towel in. Oh, you can't win. You ain't going. They're just out there making noise. And I don't understand where these spirits come from. The same way when me and George Mitchell went to Annapolis about the Preakness and Hopekeeping Pimlico racetrack up there on Belvedere. There was so many people. Oh, they crazy. The government ain't gonna do this. The owner ain't gonna do this. They always got these scenarios how to lose. Even like the brother comes in with all the scenarios how Marilyn Mosby should take a plea and throw her whole life away. Instead, he's coming with solutions to say how she can win. Study the law book to find how to win. Don't study the law book to find the losing. It's two sides of the law book. There's some cases in there that people won. That's the cases you read and study to pivot off of it. Don't go in the law books looking for the losing case. And I just don't know where you get this spirit of people want to lose. You know what I mean? And this ex-host, he can always find out how to lose. How are you a coach or a trainer to anything, and that's all you can figure out how to lose. You know, it just boggles my mind that how people find everything how to lose when it's going against the government and other races of people. Don't they realize the government, federal government, the FBI killed all our black leaders? If they physically ain't shot them, they infiltrated with false information in newspaper, false information, because we didn't have control of that stuff. So they was pitting up false information, and then you jump on it and read it, and then you feel like, oh, this is the case. They got them. But they don't understand how they connive against that person. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? You go back to W. Boyd and Marcus Garvey, how the papers infiltrated them to Tupac and Biggie. Is you want to come up to that type of era? It's the media, newspaper,
bad boy for life.
They throw stuff in them, and then you let you read it, and then you say, "Oh yeah, oh they said this," and people ain't said nothing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Let me know, and if necessary, you need support out there at the courthouse or whatever. And you know, I'm always on the winning team. I don't, you know what I mean? I goes into everything to win. Mm-hmm. I don't even try to study how to lose nothing. I study how to win.
Yes, indeed. Yes, sir. Well, definitely, I'll keep you abreast. I don't know when we'll be back in trial posture. It could be 6 months. It could be a year. It could be 2 months. We don't know. But I will definitely make everyone aware. And thank you so much for your support. Kevin, good morning. We got another Kevin. All right, 2 Marks, 1 Kevin. The 2 Kevins. Good morning, Kevin. You're on Face the Facts.
How you doing, Kelly?
Doing well.
Just wanted to tell you I have supported you like at least 5 times. I didn't even know what was going on out there. I just knew I saw black people huddled together, and I knew that y'all was organized. So it's on my beat from Costco. I was dropping cases of water. I know I dropped at least 6 or 7 cases of water off to you.
Yes, sir. I remember.
And I found out, that it was you on Larry Young. I just want you to know I applaud you. The thing I noticed about your protest is that it was respectful. So I still don't see how they got you in court. I don't see how they got you in court. But on a lighter note, I'm trying to figure out how somebody from another, why do so many of your listeners keep calling and talking about another show and another host? Another show affect these people's minds so bad that they're calling your show when you're trying to talk about this issue. How could that be?
Well, I can answer that if you allow me. Because during the time I was at protest, that host was on the show. And some people feel as though that host's comments and opinions were not directly in support of what we were doing. Now, I have to say that I personally talked to the host. And so it's not that he wasn't in support. What he pointed to was to be careful about the people that are around the protest, that are around it for the wrong reasons. He also cited that he knew that I was there for the right reasons, but he also pointed to the fact of people being placed in there for their own agendas. And I will say publicly that he was absolutely right. And so there's a climate where people felt as though the attack was for me. It wasn't an attack, it was a warning about the people that were around me.
I followed all of that. Followed all of it.
Yeah, I want to be 100% fair all the way around. And I'm not gonna join in with something that I know what actually happened, and that's what happened. But the great thing about it is that adults talk to each other one-on-one, and so if I felt attacked, I was able to have an open and honest conversation.
That's what I'm thinking that they could do with that particular host. Have that conversation with that particular host, because when you start talking behind people's back, it's just hearsay.
True story.
Two people address each other. But like I said, your protest was organized, it was respectful, and I can appreciate that, and I definitely support it.
Thank you so much, Kevin. Appreciate you for calling in. Apostle Chris, good morning. You're on Face the Facts.
Good morning, Kelly Vaughn. It's like deja vu.
just a few minutes ago, right?
Look, I supported you. The Bible says the rain fall on the just and the unjust. A civil lawsuit is preponderance of the evidence. It's like mostly who the judge or the jury believes. I just went through a situation with a family member sued me. My father was sick. He had a disease. The doctor said he's gonna have to get somebody to manage his money, his health, or whatever. So I got put on the account, paid for his legal expenses, buried him. He had money left over, and then all of a sudden she was like, "When we gonna split the money?" I said, "Well, let's wait till we get back in town." So she got a lawyer, said that I took money, stole money, and stuff like that. So I hope you have a good attorney because I didn't. So when we went to break, it was time for me to testify at the break. So she asked me, did I want to take a settlement? And I was like, take a settlement. I said, after all this money I paid you, would that make sense? And then she said, well, you don't want this on your record, and it wasn't a jury trial. So I hope you make out. And the money I had to pay out was a large sum of money. So do you have a backup plan in case the jury go the wrong way? Because Maryland is a racist state, and you in Baltimore County. Do you have a backup plan?
The backup plan that I have in case is to appeal it. That's the only backup plan that I really have. But I walk a line of facts and truth. And so that's what I'll be taking into court with me. It's hard to prove what never happened. So and the burden of proof is not on me, it's on the plaintiff. So if the plaintiff can't prove, hey, she's criminal in this, she messed with their vendors, she did this, that, and the other, and they have no proof of that contractually, because this civil suit is contractual law. It's not criminal. It has to do with a contract, and there's no contract in place, which makes their burden of proof even that much harder, because there's no paper contract. There's no paper contract that says that, hey, if you're a vendor of this business and you continue to do business with them, then I'm going to affect your business like that. There's no contract in place like that, and I know that for sure. So we continue to fight.
Right. And I was thinking the same thing. I was like, and I wanted to appeal, but it wasn't no. It was like a like a family member turning against you. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And that's like worse than the public.
How about it?
Yeah. So I hope you got good attorney, because them lawyer fees are not cheap, correct?
No, they are not. $75,000 plus.
Right, and I was saying about Miss Mosley early this morning. I know her bill is going to be astronomical. Did you get any support from your protesters helping you with the legal fees?
So we did have a fund that I, after a while, dissolved because one thing about our community, Black people will fight over money, and even though the funds were used.
I went through with a family, so it's it's crazy.
It's crazy.
Leave it for the love of money, correct?
Absolutely, yes, sir. But thank you so much for your support.
All right, yeah, all right, and I would contribute, but I'm still fighting my lawyer fees for not going up on my case.
Absolutely understood. Yes, sir.
The the review board to get this stuff knocked out. Okay, I'm praying for you. I hope you make out.
Thank you, sir. You too. Miss Sherry, fan favorite. Good morning.
Hello, Miss Kelly. Miss Kelly Vaughn, let me say this. I appreciate the fact you came right out and cleared everything up because even at the beginning, I have always said you have to watch the people that you working around in the city group. And one thing I will say, Kelly, this is a learning experience for you. And you're going to come out a much better person because when people always giving you accolades, that don't mean they have your best interest at heart.
Yes, ma'am.
Because I'm going to tell you, this is one thing I want to address with people when they ask me, and it came up, and it can be controversial. We doing, what are you doing? Let me tell you my response to that when somebody say, what are you doing? I can tell you what I'm not doing. And I'm not standing up there marching with you and these other ones that I seen firsthand. Don't throw me in that trap because I was up underneath investigation one time and almost lost everything. But you know what I did? I got psychological issues from the jaw. And when they called themselves interrogating me, I fell out. I fell on the ground and got to the hospital. They wanted to take my blood and took some of my blood. That didn't fare well for them that good. So you always have to have a backup plan. When they think they got you, no. I ain't that stupid. So Kelly, this is a learning. And sometimes take advice that you don't like, because that's going to be what's true to you in the end. So for your ones that ask me what I'm doing, I can tell you what I'm not doing. I'm not marching with y'all Jack in the boxes. Have a good one, Kelly.
You too, Michelle. Yes, ma'am. So I'll talk to you later. Yes, ma'am. I'm going to take my last caller, and that's going to be James. James, good morning. James, good morning.
Me?
Yes, indeed.
Look here, Miss Vaughn, let me tell you something about how you can be a good host and a respectable host. You can't have no cut card on nobody. I don't care if they're your friends or not. If you got that mic in your hands, you got to put it all on the table. And don't be sensitive to what people saying. You said this morning somebody was disrespecting you. As a talk show host, I don't want you to ever use that language again. Because if you doing right by the people and somebody come on these airways and try to disrespect you, that caller, the next caller going to deal with that person that disrespect you. And the people say you for them. You don't even have to fight that battle. The people will fight the battle for you. All you got to do is be true to the people. Put all the cards, everything on the side. I don't care if they're your friends or not. If you got to talk about it, and don't take it as nothing personal. Don't worry about no. The people will straighten the people out that's disrespecting you. You don't even have to fight that fight. Don't even come on here and say that. Because if you're doing right by the people, they're going to deal with those people that try to deal with you. You follow me?
I follow you, but I'm definitely going to respond to them if they're body shaming me on open air. Yeah, I'm going to do that.
Because you don't, listen, this is what you don't want to do. You got to look at the people before you that had the mic in their hand.
No, don't. I have my own method. And my own method. Yeah, we don't have to be cookie cutter. It's okay to work in your own vein. You don't have to go with everything that everybody did before you, because if it was that great and that grand, they would be on a bigger platform, and they're not. They keep trying to get on this one. So,
Confrontational.
mm-hmm.
So it's not good to air out like that. You got to keep in mind the people that before you. You know, just keep it in mind. I mean, if you're doing the right thing, the people will fight with you. That's all I'm saying to you.
Okay. All right. Yeah. If you come for me on air, I'm going to continue to come for you on air. And that's my method of doing things. And I'm probably never going to change that. I am not going to let someone address me on air and I not address them back. I mean, people can stand up for me. Absolutely. They can fight with me and for me. But if I don't fight for myself, I'm going to lose every time. Because at the end of the day, I got me. So listen, guys, thank you so much for tuning in this week. As I said, it's so great to be back on Black Talk Radio with each and every one of you. I'm glad that I was able to let you guys know what's been going on and give you an update. I want you to tune in next week as we continue with our discussions on Face the Facts. Here's a nugget to put somewhere. What's up with y'all girl Jada? How's she gonna say, I wish he hadn't gotten her man stood up for her all the way, and she gonna come out publicly and say, I wish he hadn't? Girl, you wish he hadn't, or you wish Tupac was still here too? I've been waiting to say that all week. I'm so glad I got it out. But thank you, Sean, for doing this show, and thank you to all our listenership. Please tune in, share this with somebody, and we can't wait to get back next week with more discussion about what's going on in our city and in our community. This has been Kelly Vaughn with Face the Facts on 1010 WOLB. Shout out to everybody who listened at www.wolbbaltimore.com. We thank you so very much. And please stay tuned, because I believe Soup and Salad with Seniors is coming up. And later on, Miss Flowers will be on at 2:30 p.m. Of course, Al Sharpton is on with his nationally syndicated show. But thank you for staying tuned all day with me. This is a marathon radio day for me. I've been going hard since 7 a.m. I'm proud of me. Pat on my back. Listen, family, peace until we see each other the next time.